having me. And I feel so honored to be the selected organization for the month. So thank you all.
Very welcome. I wanted to start off with just kind of tell the audience a little bit about your background and what do you do exactly for Fresh Spirit Wellness.
Okay, well, I am the program manager for Fresh Spirit, and I actually oversee the day to day, which is quite a bit. It can encompass anything from doing intakes, with phone calls coming in. People are seeking domestic violence counseling, or they may need some type of legal advocacy or case management, which encompasses if they need housing or they may need somebody to help them with a financial plan, or they may need some child care. We actually partner with other organizations to do all of that. Uh, Legal advocacy, if they need a protective order, we have an expert that works with the clients on that. And our primary service is our domestic violence counseling.
Gotcha. And it's a lot that goes into it. As I was reading out a lot of stages that people go through and how y'all are able to help. But before we get into the main questions, can you just talk about the mission and vision of this nonprofit organization, Fresh Spirit Wellness?
Yes, like you said earlier, Fresh Spirit was started by Dr. Conti Terrell, who is a survivor of domestic violence herself. And so it was in 1997, so it's been 23 years that she started the organization. And when she managed to escape her abuser, she discovered that there was no resources for someone like her. And someone like her stereotype was a woman who was escaping an abusive relationship, but she did not need shelter because she had family, she had somewhere to go and had somewhere to stay. But then there was no resources unless you actually were going into a shelter. And so that actually just kind of catapulted her into her calling as far as, bridging the gap, and especially counseling for African American women, because we are culturally specific, even though we don't turn away anyone of any race. But the largest number of clients that we do have are African American women.
Gotcha. And based off of what you're kind of telling me, it might be a lot of people in that situation, and it's like they don't have anywhere to turn, or they just don't know where to turn. So, and during this pandemic, has it gotten worse where you've seen more cases and more caseloads because of people having to stay home? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. The numbers are astronomical just when COVID started. And so just this past quarter alone, we have actually tripled our numbers, since COVID started. And so just this past quarter, we did like 510 services, with clients. And that is basically almost for the whole entire grant just in one quarter. And so you can just imagine what the other numbers are in the other 3 quarters. And this was the final quarter. And the numbers actually surpassed exactly the whole numbers that we will require for the grant year just in one quarter.
Wow, that's crazy. So have you been with this nonprofit for a period of time where you've been able to measure like, okay, this is a normal raise of cases versus another month? Is it seasonal, something like that, or is it just?
It is not. It is pandemic oriented. But I would say domestic violence has always been there. However, it takes something like this to push it to the forefront. And I actually recently just started. I actually got hired in the middle of the pandemic, so I just started with Fresh Spirit in April. And so I actually hit the ground running because we were so busy. And I came in and took on that particular area as far as the program manager, because we were just have clients just pouring in, calling, and we're not an emergency service. Hawk is an emergency service. However, because they are 24/7, and our primary service that we offer is the domestic violence counseling. But with all of the other services, we have clients that are coming in and you have to put them in hotels because they don't have anywhere to be. You have to, make sure that they have food. And then you're dealing with all of this in the middle of pandemic, food having to be delivered. The grant manager is out in the middle of a storm trying to make sure that the clients have food at the hotels and things of that nature. And so that's the type of team that we have. Or the case manager is out helping them looking for rapid rehousing apartments or taking them to get a car at a dealership. This is the type of staff that we have. Or the legal advocate is taking them to court to get a protective order and talk to the judge.
Well, I
And I
think
know.
it's real great what you guys are doing, especially for the African American community. I think one thing that I want to ask, because I think from our previous shows, um, we were talking about, like, even with breast cancer, like African American women always get pushed back to the side. They get pushed back. They're like, just, or whether it's mental health, and now it's domestic violence. So would you say that black women or women of color, the numbers are higher, as far as, like, when it comes to domestic violence, as far as I know you guys cater to that, but I guess my question is, um, you know, I was looking on your guys' website as far as, like, the signs. So would you say that in our community that they get kind of pushed to the side, African American women get pushed to the side,
Definitely. We
get
do.
pushed.
Yeah, we do in society, period. Because if you look at the white man, who's first, who's second, who's third, and you'll see the black woman uh, typically has been at the bottom. And so that's why we have this surge right now, and it is so important that we let everyone know that we are here as the advocates. We are called advocates, domestic violence advocates. And so we have a strong front line of African American professionals who are up and coming, and to make sure that we don't leave our sisters, brothers, families behind. And so it is very, very important for them to see us, just not just, in educating the communities, the church, the faith leaders, the business, the entrepreneurs, and things like that. Everybody is affected. You have a primary, the victim or survivor is primary, but then you have the secondary victims, those who are affected, the children, the family members, and things of that nature. So it's it's like they say, it takes a whole village to raise a child, but it takes a village to destroy a pandemic like this, because everybody needs to know that that is not the definition of love. And we have to break the cycles. There are generational cycles of abuse. You saw your parents, then you saw your grandparents, and it just continues on. Even myself, I did not learn until when I was in college that my great grandmother killed my great grandfather.
Mhm.
I learned that. And she was only 4'11". And I found out the reason that she killed him is because he told her, after I get through bathing you, I'm going to kill you and the children. After you get through bathing me, rather, I'm going to kill you. And so uh, they said he was very, very jealous. And everybody, of course, this is in 1920 or whatever this is. And so she didn't even stay in prison because the domestic violence that she was suffering, even the law even knew it back then. And so this is a generational thing that has been going unaddressed, and now it's totally cancerous. And so the only way that you can deal with a cancer is you have to go in and you have to arrest it. And we have to arrest domestic violence, because you just never know who is experiencing domestic violence that in your own family, your neighbor. And next thing you know, you hear it on television and you will say, I never knew, because we have been taught to be silent, don't say anything, or that's just the norm, and it's not the norm. It has never been the norm. We have been brainwashed into thinking that it is the norm, and it's not acceptable. It's never been acceptable, but we have to make sure that we educate our people to let them know no more, no more silent pandemic.
Right. That's a amazing story that you just told. Like a lot of things that's happened in the past that we don't know about, and knowing the past helps you be able to change your future and in the present moving forward. So just knowing things that like that has happened, people are able to say, okay, well, how do we stop this? So my question is, what signs, like at what point would somebody that may, hopefully not, but maybe unfortunately watching this podcast and feels like they're experiencing this, at what point are they able to come to your organization to look for help? And what are the stages that they go through from, like, can you kind of walk us through from start to finish?
Well, actually, when individuals call us, and you pretty much, a lot of times people don't understand the term domestic violence. They don't necessarily know what domestic violence is by terminology. And so we'll use the term toxic relationships. And so when we dealing with the ladies that are calling in, and they have gotten word of mouth about our organization, and then they call in and they want counseling, because that's our primary service, is domestic violence counseling. And when they come in, we will schedule them for an intake. And once we do an intake, we get their story and find out what their primary needs are. If they need a protective order, if they need housing, or if they need some financial systems or some other supportive services, we gather all that information during the intake. And then we will actually staff it with our team to do a treatment plan and see what's the best course of action for the ladies or the men, and or children of a certain age. And then what we'll do is we'll assign them a counselor. And once they are assigned a counselor, they can actually begin having individual counseling sessions. On Thursdays, we actually have support groups that the ladies attend, which is very, very effective, because there's a support from your peers when you attend the support groups. And we recently started a support group on for men, where since we have men coming in, we have a support group on Wednesday nights that is available for men to come in. And so we have 2 support groups every week. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, my microphone is on mute. I think Lloyd just
someone who lies or exaggerates, demonstrates over their top gestures, obsesses over you, and bombards you with texts. Oh, most definitely, that's a stalker. That's a stalker, because there are multiple types of domestic violence, and it comes physically, it comes verbally, it comes sexually, it comes financially, all of these. It comes emotionally. And so, or you could have a combination of all these different things. So it's not just one, because a lot of clients were thinking, well, I don't have a black eye. But just because you don't have a black eye does not mean that you're not being emotionally and verbally abused. Somebody who is exerting power and control, they purposely actually, I would say they call it gaslighting, which is basically playing mind games with you to the point where you think you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Or the narcissistic behavior, that person who's they're always right, you're always wrong. That's why I said it takes education for you to learn these detrimental personality types. And it's not just gender based, because we have women as well who are the abusers. So we don't serve them. We don't serve any abusers. We only deal with the victims and survivors. But when you are in being educated, you want to be educated because you need to learn the personality. and learn those character traits. If you see them in a man or a woman or a family or intimate partner or a neighbor or coworker, we want them to learn how to recognize the detrimental character traits, no matter who it's coming from.
Right. And in today's society, most likely a guy may be feeling embarrassed to go to get some help, or if he feels like he's being abused. Like, so if in the situation that you've seen, what would it look like for a man getting abused by a woman? Like, is it physical, or is it mostly mental, or
Oh, actually, it is both.
it's both?
It's both, because if you're a man and you're not combative, you're not a person who says, I know I'm a man, I know my strength, and so even if you may be a woman of my same stature, I'm still a man and my strength is twice as yours. And so you weren't raised to be retaliatory, and so you have a woman who may be hitting you. She's throwing things, she's tearing up your things, she's busting out your car windows, putting your tires on flat, coming up to your job, all of the text messaging. You can see that as well. And the man who's being abused, but the average man is not going to report it.
Mm-hmm.
He does not report it. That's why I say out of the 56 African American people we had for this quarter, only 2 of them were men. The rest of them were women. And
Wow.
we know that there are more men out there that are dealing with abusive women. And some of the women, they have, substance abuse problems. They have mental issues, like Lord said earlier. There are undiagnosed mental issues that maybe have bipolar or whatever they may be diagnosed with, or undiagnosed, or self-medicating. But he is dealing with that just if he was a woman, and she's dealing with that. And so you have to kind of educate yourself just around that narcissistic behavior in general, because
Right.
we have abusive parents, you have children abusing parents, and so domestic violence could be anyone. And so for you to learn and become educated about what it is, then you'll be able to recognize it, whoever it is.
I saw one thing that was real interesting, as well as a second sign of domestic violence. A sign would be isolation. When someone is trying to always isolate you, not from your family or from your friends,
From
don't
talking
want
to
you
anybody. Yes,
right.
keep you from talking to anyone. Actually, you can't have a phone. Actually, control all of the finances.
Finances,
Take your
right.
check. So you go to work, and then you don't even have access to your own money. That's considered financial abuse. And so
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. The isolation is one thing. Controlling phone calls. Controlling. Always hovering over who you're talking to, who you're texting, what you're doing on the computer, and things of that nature.
Mhm.
And then make it seem like you're the person who may be cheating, which actually that's not the truth.
Right.
That is a power control thing.
Is that where gaslighting comes from? Is that what that term is from?
Yes.
Okay.
Gaslighting is really, like I said, the person makes you think you're crazy.
Gotcha.
Just flip everything.
Mhm.
Like we talked about, somebody spit in your face and tell you it's raining, but I just saw it come out of your mouth and you're going to tell me it's raining.
Right.
You know, and we'll continue to lie to you until you start to believe, say, oh, well, maybe that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have to hold on to your logic. And so that's where education comes in again.
Gotcha. And with so many cases going on, y'all do take volunteers? Are y'all in need of volunteers?
We are in need of volunteers if someone is interested in coming in, especially if you are LPC or LSW, or if you have any type of certification as far as offering counseling. We could really use the assistance. We're about to actually receive from one of our partners, a whole list of clients that are coming in. And one thing is we end up sometime having to do people on a wait list because we only have 2 counselors. We have a very small team. And so we're just hoping and praying for the financial support, some other grants and things to come in. One of the things when we talked about what can somebody do to support us is, we just started the Purple Avengers, which means that we'll be starting them next month, where you can just donate a recurring $20 a month and something like that, and that would be helpful um, in us bringing in some other staff and things of that nature. We still have our family and friends virtual walk. You
Mm-hmm.
can still sign up for that through the end of the month and donate through that. And so those are the 2 things that we actually have going on right now. The Purple Avenger starts next month, and then we have the virtual walk. And of course, if you're interested in volunteering your services, any type of administrative work, we have plenty to do.
And just a reminder, once again, y'all, Fresh Spirit Wellness is the Lamps nonprofit of the month. And if you're looking to do any type of donations, we're going to make sure we put the website up. If you're looking to volunteer, you said they have to be licensed. Is that correct?
Yes, if you want to donate your services for any counseling
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that, where you deal with the clients, you do have to be licensed.
And do they get any type of is there any type of credit that they get for experience or something like that if they're looking for work in that
Well,
field?
I would say we have several interns that are working with us. And so those who are actually trying to get their master's in counseling or psychotherapy or things like that, then we partner with a certain organization that is their overseer, and we are a host site for those who are interns.
Gotcha.
And so they get credit, that way as part of their clinicals.
Are you guys nationwide or just locally here in Houston?
We have one other location in Atlanta, which is where Dr. Conti is from. So you have a Fresh Spirit Houston, and we're in the Galleria area, and we have a location in Atlanta, Georgia.
There's a question from one of the viewers. Are there any other ways to volunteer services? I have my BSW, but not licensed.
Well, I would say bachelor's of social work. I would say she can. Is that a she or he? I'm sorry, I
It's
didn't
a
see
she.
it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most definitely, she can probably assist with case management. And the
Mm-hmm.
case managers actually do intakes, and so that's when you're gathering all the information for the counselors, and so that may be something that she may be interested in doing, and then learning more about the domestic violence area. So case
Do,
management.
do you guys do you guys do anything big? Kind of putting the cart before the horse, but anything big for the holidays? I know a lot of we've also uh, hosted like a Toys for Tots for the kids. So just we're still kind of planning our things for the holidays. But kids are near and dear with us, and like you say, a lot of times when people think of domestic violence, they don't think about the kids. But they suffer in this too. And so if you guys are having anything, that would be nice to know, and see if we can be a part of it.
Well, we do typically do a tour drive, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that because we will be looking to partner with you all on that during the holidays. And so we will connect on that, and I'll make sure I let Dr. Conti know and let us know what what information that you need. And so we'll be
That'll
ready
that'll
for
be
that.
that'll be great because we raised so many toys last year, but we want to make sure this year that the toys get to where they need to get to, and it have to be necessarily such a huge organization. You know what I mean? So that'll be great. Looks like we have another question, a follow-up question from Jean Williams. She's asking, so who would she need to contact I guess from your last question, she had the BSW, but doesn't. I guess with the
Okay.
case management.
Okay. She can actually just contact me. She can send me her resume at tony@freshspirit.org,
Okay, Tony at
and
first.
I'm going to write her name down. Jean.
Okay, that is what it's all about.
So yeah, we have quite a few children. A lot of our clients in this quarter, this grant year, we have quite a few children, and so it will be a great assistance to be able to provide them with those toys and make sure that they have the best holiday that they can have in the midst of this pandemic. So we really will appreciate that.
Well, that's great. Once again, can you leave the audience with your contact information, just like you're doing with Ms. Jean Williams? And like I said, we're going to put the website up, and so the people that are interested in volunteering, hopefully they can reach out to you. It's going to be really busy this fourth quarter of 2020.
Yes. My email address is Tony, TONI, @freshspirit.org.
All right. So that's how you can reach her. And once again, congratulations on Fresh Spirit Wellness, nominated the first LAMP nonprofit of the month. So congratulations again.
Thank you so much. And I am so glad to have met you all. And we look forward to working with you all on many other projects.
All right. Any final words to leave us with? Any nuggets you want to leave the audience with?
Just stay vigilant. I just see all of this domestic violence that's coming to the forefront. And so I just tell people, even if you don't feel confident enough to step in yourself, but at least tell somebody, say something, get the word out, because one of the things that is going to break this cycle is all of us working together. No matter what platform you have, we have to we have to stand up for one another, and we have to get rid of the bystander effect. No more bystander effect. We cannot do that, because as soon as you actually turn your head, it could be you or somebody that's close to you. And so just call the police, or if you're too afraid yourself, because it can be a scary situation. So I don't advise anybody to just step into something unless you are skilled enough to handle it and you're confident in that. But at least make sure you call the police and pay attention to the signs, the warning signs, like you said, the isolation, or the person is no longer, they just stop answering phone calls. Or you can pay attention to somebody, all of a sudden they're wearing a lot of makeup, which means they're hiding bruises and things of that nature. Just kind of be sensitive to, the person's character changes, things of that nature. They're missing a lot of work. They're missing school. If it's children, they're missing school, finding out what's going on. It could be abuse going on in the home. So there's a lot of different ways for us to pay attention and begin to try to bridge that gap in breaking the cycle of domestic violence.
All right. I appreciate that. And thanks for reminding us that abusers can range from children to parents to males, females as well. So just because you're in a certain demographic or whatever doesn't mean you cannot get help and reach out for help. So thank you for reminding us that and bringing awareness to domestic violence awareness.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good night.
Good night. All right. So that was a good information on the show. And I appreciate her coming on. Kind of short notice because they're so busy right now, is that they were able to come on after hours and talk to us about what's going on. And of course, we're finishing off the month of October with domestic violence awareness. And once again, Fresh Spirit Wellness is LAMP's nonprofit of the month. So you have any? Oh, look like Lloyd fell off. He's back now. Okay. You have any final words to leave us with?
Just like you said, great show. I'm glad that, we're bringing awareness to different organizations, because a lot of times, we're learning through the whole process ourselves.
Mhm.
So I'm sure it's people out there that need help, and hopefully this is helping. And then other than that, man, if you can, please, please, please come out Saturday from 2 to 7, 12:15 Pine Month. We'll be posting it. But if you need a good time with your kids, I mean, we've been locked up due to COVID. It's gonna be hand sanitizer, prepackaged stuff, so don't have to worry about that. But come out and have a good time, and enjoy.
All right. So we are signing off. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Peace.